Part 11. So for this part, I'm just going to give you some backstory on the family. Pause all the stuff about the house, pause the stuff about the car. This is backstory on his family, my ex-husband's family. Alright, follow me. My ex-husband's parents, mom and dad, are both deceased. Mom passed away from cancer. Dad passed away shortly after her. I'm not sure what he passed away from. So he has a number of siblings. He has 2 with his parents. He has 2 brothers. One is older, lives in Philly. One is younger by 2 years, lives in Nashville. He has 2 sisters. One, Shantae, is older, lives in Douglasville with her husband and 2 kids, a boy and a girl. Younger sister, Kim, is the baby, lives in Augusta with her husband, worked at, I think he told me, Procter & Gamble. That was the story. He had 2 half-brothers that were through his dad. One brother lived in Baltimore, the other brother lived in Augusta. The brother that lived in Augusta, I have physically met in person, shook hands, hugged, all that. The brother that lived in Baltimore, I had FaceTimed with, talked to him. The brother that lived in Philly, the older brother that he looked up to, I have never talked to him on the phone. I would always talk to him through my ex-husband. So the conversation would be like, hey babe, brother, so-and-so said hey. He didn't call him brother so-and-so, we'll call him John. John said hey. Hey, John. I would be in the bathroom doing my hair, brushing my teeth. Hey, John. And he'd be like, did you hear her? He said, how you doing? I was like, I'm good, how's he doing? Because that's just me. And so he would relay back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. He talked to John every day from starting around July after the grandmother passed away. He would talk to John every morning. We both would be getting ready for work, and he would be on the phone with John. They would be talking for 30-40 minutes, talking about football, talking about other siblings. They would be talking about cars. They talked, it was really like not a big deal. They would talk about the brother in Baltimore. They would talk about a brother in Augusta, and then they would reminisce. This is the conversations I can hear. Let me explain, when I say I can hear a conversation, what that means is I am physically standing near him or next to him where I could hear him with the phone up to his ear, talking to someone, because it wasn't me, okay? I may not hear the other person, because the phone call may not be on speakerphone, but what I hear is, for example, I hear, hey man, what y'all doing? Oh, for real, y'all barbecuing this weekend? What y'all making? Oh, that's what's up. No, I think me and her going to stay in this weekend, because you know these numbers is looking crazy with COVID. Yeah, she's over here, she's sitting right here, she watched the TV. Okay, hold on, John said hey. Hey, John, you heard her. Okay, alright, bro, I just wanted to check in on you. That's the type of conversation I'm explaining, okay. So I hope that gives a little more clarity about the type of conversations I'm hearing. So, I don't know why this light keeps going out. Okay, so that's how he would talk to his siblings. The grandmother passed away. He called me around April or May and told me that his grandmother passed away. His grandmother on his dad's side had died suddenly from COVID. She had symptoms, she went to bed, and did not wake up. He was distraught, he was crying, he wasn't eating, he was just sitting there, listening to music, not watching TV, just sad, because he was like, you know, my grandmother was always my support system. So from what I saw, it really bothered him. I did not think anything of it. I'm one of those people, if you tell me somebody in your family passed away, I'm going to believe you, because I don't play about death, and I guess I expect other people don't either. However, that is not the same for everyone else, but we'll get there. So, family, he talked to his sister, Shantae, who lived in Douglasville. Like I said, she was married with 2 kids. Apparently, she was a nurse. So when I had my miscarriage, that was a sister that he was like, my sister will take you to the hospital, like that's what family does, okay. I had never met Shantae. I've been around him when he was on the phone with Shantae, never heard her part of the conversation, but he would be talking to his sister. That's what he said, that's what it sounded like too. Now, what is interesting is that we lived maybe 35–40 minutes away from Douglasville. So there were plenty of times that he had invited me to go with him to his sister's house. Okay. Let me tell you how this would always work out. Total times he invited me was probably 3 times for different barbecues or whatnot. The first time he invited me, I was like, no, I ain't going, because again, COVID, and she's a nurse, hell no. The second time, he was like, yeah, she invited us, but I don't think we should go because COVID, no. The third time, I agreed to go. I was like, absolutely, I'll go meet your sister, like that'd be great. On our way to her house to Douglasville to go see the sister, apparently he got a phone call. The phone was always like on vibrate, but he got a phone call, and he told me that something came up, and so she had to cancel the barbecue, to get together, whatever. And so I was just like, oh man, okay, well, hopefully we can go another time. It didn't happen close enough for me to have red flags, if that makes sense. But at this point, as you all probably like, girl, you so blind, but again, I didn't think anything of it, because it's like, okay, it fell through, we'll reschedule. And so we just went out to eat, and then he talked to another brother, the brother from Augusta, that he would have on speakerphone. So it was like, I didn't think anything of it. I really didn't. Man, and the more I talk about it, the more I realize, like, I'm not a dumb person, but it just never dawned on me the things that you have to now investigate. It didn't dawn on me. But nevertheless, that is the backstory for his family, right? Grandmother passed away. 3 weeks later, he called me and told me his uncle had passed away from COVID. The uncle had tested positive, had to go into the hospital, and he died. It was a bit of a red flag, but like I said, I don't play about death, so I was just like, wow. Because of these 2 deaths, he became a stickler about COVID. And when I mean a stickler, wear your mask, wear gloves, hand sanitize, wash your hands, like he was annoying about making sure neither one of us caught COVID. So now I'm going to give you the backstory in regards to what I was told with the ex-wife, okay? I know I look rough, but it's okay, it's okay. Anyway, so this is part 12 of Who the Did I Marry? So this is the backstory on what I was told for the ex-wife. This is important, pay attention. Alright, this is 2020. So this is what I was told in 2020. I was told that he and his ex-wife used to be friends, then they started dating, and subsequently got married. They got married in California. He had bought a house with the money that he made from arena football. They had apparently gotten married on the downward of the arena football career. Had a nice house. He showed me a picture of the house, showed me pictures inside the house, remember that, showed me pictures inside the house. It was a really nice home in San Diego. And basically, what happened was that he came home from work early one day, and came home early from work one day, and his wife was sleeping with another man. The man was in the house. He and the man get into it. Her son, who is about 17 years old in 2020, she had 2 kids, a daughter and a son. The son apparently was on his way home from school when my ex-husband found his previous wife in bed with another man. So the story goes was that he and the guy fought, he kicked the guy out, he kicked his ex-wife out, but told her the kids could stay. The kids are not biologically his, those are his stepkids. She was like, you must be kidding, like, I'm not leaving my kids here. The kids are old enough to where they were like, we don't want to go, because we don't want to leave. So apparently, she leaves. The kids stay with him for a few weeks, and then she gets her own place. The kids move in with their mom. He files for divorce in California. And it was an ugly divorce. She was asking for spousal support, all kinds of stuff. And then it turned into, I'll help you with the kids, not child support, but just, I will give you some money for the kids, because apparently he was very close to the kids, and he wanted to keep a relationship with the kids. Their biological fathers, apparently, they were 2 fathers, their biological fathers were not in the picture. So the divorce starts out contested and ugly, eventually becomes amicable. Eventually, they become cordial with each other. So my ex-husband moved, this is all before he ever met me. So I'm telling you the story of what I was told in 2020. So eventually, about 2 years later, is when his job approached him about an opportunity to transfer to Georgia, and so he took it. New beginning, fresh start, he has family in Georgia, he took it. He told me this story pretty much the second or third conversation we had. So it was always from the beginning that she had cheated, he caught her, and he had filed for divorce, but he was still close to the kids, they still had a great relationship. I've heard him on the phone with the kids, you know, just encouraging them, helping the 17-year-old, like, with homework. The kids really apparently wanted to meet me, and I was fine with that. He would apparently send them money, you know, if they needed something, because he loved the kids as if they were his own. I'm telling you the story as I was told it in 2020. So let's see, around April or May of 2020, he informs me that his ex-wife has moved to Georgia. Apparently, she's staying with her sister in Gwinnett County. So she has moved to Georgia, the 2 kids are now in Georgia. And so when he tells me all this, I'm like, so what's that supposed to mean? Now, I will say this, he never made it seem as if she wants him back. He never presented that. It was always, no, you know, we're cool for the kids, we're cool for the kids. But he never presented that she was trying to get him back. I feel like it's fair to her for me to say that. And again, stay with me, it all comes out. But that was the backstory in regards to the ex-wife, that they got married in California, they divorced in California, and then she eventually moved to Georgia to Gwinnett County after he had transferred to Georgia for his job. He did tell me that, you know, every now and then, he'll get a text message from her. He told me that he told her when I was pregnant, he felt like she needed to hear that from him instead of hearing it from the kids. And we got into a bit of an argument about that, but honey, in the big scheme of things, anyway. So we got into an argument about that. I felt like, that's none of her business. But that's the overall backstory of her. So remember, because there will be a quiz, but just remember, he met her in California, married her in California, divorced her in California, she moved to Georgia to Gwinnett County after he moved to Georgia. Are we clear?